Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun, as earlier introduced, the Chief of Policy and Plans, Nigerian Army. I stand before you this morning to represent the Chief of Army Staff, Nigerian Army, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai. Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai has been in the saddle of the Nigerian Army for 4 years plus now, and he has been responsible for combating the menace of Boko Haram, insurgency, and terrorism in Nigeria. He has earned so many national and international accolades as spread in front of his name. Well, I'll be representing this morning. Every credit of this paper belongs to him. Any mistakes, I take responsibility. Here with me also, I have two senior officers, Major General M.G. Ali, who is the commander, Nigerian Army Special Forces Command, and Brigadier General Lassa is the commander of the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command, which was recently established. Wherever I mention I or me, please, it is Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai, not Adeosun. On behalf of the Nigerian Army, I wish to express my profound gratitude to the National Institute for Counter-Terrorism for inviting me to be part of this epoch-making summit on contemporary global security challenges. This summit indeed marks another global struggle against terrorism and a pointer to the collective efforts at combating both present and future threats of terrorism. I therefore wish to commend this laudable initiative to rid the world of these threats to humanity. From east to west and from north to south, no nation can be said to be immune from the threats of terrorism. Since the ugly incidents of 9/11, as we all recollect, acts of terrorism have evolved steadily and have continued to rise with grave negative impacts on global peace and security. We can see the pictures of the faces of some of the bad guys disturbing the entire Africa and, by implication, the entire world. Whether it's Al-Shabaab or it's ISIS or Boko Haram, you can see what they look like. The African Union has deployed African troops to Central Africa, Sudan, Somalia, and so many other places to undertake counter-terrorism operations. Regionally, as part of effort to contain the Boko Haram terrorists, popularly known and referred to now as Islamic State West Africa Province, the Lake Chad Basin Commission has initiated a multinational joint task force comprising troops from Nigeria, Chad, Niger, Cameroon, and Benin Republic. These forces are currently conducting counter-terrorist operations in the region, a follow-on to so many other operations that have been conducted by the force. And the current operation is codenamed Operation Yenshi Tafki. The operation's codename was coined from the Hausa local dialect commonly spoken in Niger, Nigeria, Chad, and Cameroon, which literally means Operation to Free Lake Chad. The Joint Task Force has significantly degraded the terrorist fighting capability and denied them freedom of action in the Lake Chad region. Boko Haram terrorists, as earlier mentioned, Islamic State West Africa Province, are homegrown terrorist groups in Nigeria. From inside of their organization names, It simply means Western education and values are forbidden. I wonder, in the world today, where any sane person can hold such a belief. This has revealed their hidden agenda of having locals reverting to the mundane lifestyle for ease of recruitment. It further revealed that these criminals are having the desire to form a formidable hub in West Africa with the end state of attacking Western interests and targets in Africa and beyond. This calls for global partnership if terrorism is to be nipped in Africa and indeed the world at large. Foreign partners such as the United States, France, United Kingdom, and our dear host, Israel, have over time supported our counterterrorism operations through provision of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, as well as counter-improvised explosive devices training in support of the Nigerian Army. The countries of the world bedeviled with terrorism challenges have been striving to unfold strategies as a country or regional force. The Nigerian Army is not an exception in unfolding strategies to tame this crisis and seeking new ones to tame the ugly trend. Nigerian Army's counterterrorism efforts and strategies are intelligence and logistics driven, focused on dominating the theater of operation with a view to decimate and destroy the terrorist groups, tagged D3. This strategy necessitated the recent adjustment of Nigerian Army force structure that gave birth to additional divisions, brigades, and battalions to enhance the success of the counterterrorism strategy in the counterterrorism operations within the country. In the words of Eneke Debates in Chinua Achebe's book, Things Fall Apart, I quote, "Since men have learned to shoot without missing, birds have also learned to fly without perching." In other words, as the Nigerian Army unfolds new strategies to tame the terrorists, they also develop strategies to evade it. The evasion of our dominate, decimate, and destroy strategy made the Nigerian Army to look inward and unfolded new strategies. Some of these strategies include the relocation of its military command and control center to Maiduguri to support formations participating in the operation in order to reduce response time, improve situation awareness, and facilitate coordination with other stakeholders. This relocation led to fluid discharge of assigned tasks by both headquarters elements and those to execute the mission, thereby fast-tracking operations with positive outcomes. It became imperative to also establish and move the Nigerian Army Special Forces School to the northeast of Nigeria, being the epicenter of the counterterrorism operation. This is to enhance pre-deployment training, theater acclimatization training of troops before induction into the operation, and in-theater training for fluid employment and deployment of troops and equipment. This emboldened the troops by nipping surprises and moving straight from their comfort zones of barracks into battle. The resultant effect was commendable. Also, as part of the force structure adjustment, the Nigerian Army Special Forces Command was established to coordinate employment and deployment of all Special Forces assets in the theater of operation. I earlier introduced the commander of the Nigerian Army Special Forces Command. The streamlining of the Nigerian Army Special Forces under command reduced bureaucracy of employment, deployment, and tasking of the Special Forces, thus improved the Special Forces response time. To foster the relationship and win the hearts and minds of the populace, the Department of Civil Military Affairs was established to introduce and transmit the core elements of effective civil-military relations. The department conducted various seminars and workshops across the theater of operation, which has facilitated interaction with local leaders in crisis areas as part of activities to engage the local population. This was achieved through production and airing of documentary films and radio jingles were also employed to sensitize the public on the current campaign against terrorism. The Nigerian Army also undertakes humanitarian activities, such as provision of water and healthcare services, road construction, and other welfare projects directed at winning the hearts and minds of the civil populace within the theater. Officers and men who also indulge in teaching of pupils in local schools where teachers, for fear of their life, have abdicated their responsibilities. This created a bond with the locals and served as strong sources of information passage from grassroots to the military on terrorist activities, movements, and sometimes the terrorist plan are obtained without stress. To achieve effective command and control while sustaining combat effectiveness in the theater of operation, appointment of commanders and commanding officers were also looked at to assert their commitment and pedigree. The Nigerian Army focused on identifying pedigree of personnel who have sound knowledge of the terrain with requisite professional expertise, amongst other considerations. This necessitated the expansion of the Nigerian Army Training Command to accommodate integrated counter-terrorism wing, advanced recruitment training wing, and an unconventional warfare wing, where rigorous counter-terrorism training are conducted. Key emphasis of such training is on terrorist techniques and procedures, terrorist tactics, terrorist finances, communication techniques, and recruitment networks. Nigeria Army also established forward operation bases that led to arrest of wanted terrorists and crime reduction. Troops at the forward operating bases along our international boundaries have intercepted illegal migrants and movement of arms across our porous borders with our neighbors. In an effort to confine the activities of the terrorists, quick response groups were formed to patrol major highways of the country, while mobile strike groups and teams checkmate the excesses of the terrorists in theater. These efforts led to elimination of terrorist activities in other parts of the country to currently limit them to the Northeast, particularly Borno and Yobe states, respectively. This is contrary to the situation in 2015, when the entire country was under siege by the Boko Haram terrorists. Before I conclude, I also want to mention, like I introduced one of the commanders, the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare Command was just established to also take the counter-terrorism fight to the cyberspace for the Nigerian Army. On behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, I just hope that the deliberations and interactions at this summit will provide fresh insight and arouse new enthusiasm to addressing the menace of terrorism globally. This little I've given is just on the part of Nigerian Army and not the entire governmental efforts of combating terrorism and insurgency in Nigeria. On behalf of the Chief of Army Staff, I want to thank you all for your rapt attention.